Yeah, yeah, you're good now.
Okay, present. Alrighty, so I am doing mine over, I mean, my stopwatch. I'm doing mine over academic planning and first year academics. So this is just like the topic I chose because when I first started college, I really struggled with um, finding a major. Once I did find my major, I didn't feel like I chose the right one. I was lying to myself. I always told everyone I love my major. I was a geography major. I was like, oh, I can do so much with this. It's easy. And then second semester in, I really wasn't doing my best. So that's why I decided to change. And this is like some tips I'm going to be giving to hopefully future students and how to choose their right major and how to plan their first year of academics so they can fulfill their academia as best as they can. So for first year, so explore different majors. I think that's a really big key I can tell you is I think that so many people go into their first year of college because I did my undergrad at Ball State of nursing was really big there and people are like, oh, I'm gonna do nursing, no questions asked. And then um, over half the girls or guys who do declare a nursing major drop out within the first semester just because they think it's a lot easier than what it was in high school with all their math and sciences. So explore different majors. That's also advice that I got my second year of college, and I wish I would have gotten it my first year. So I went to the tutoring center. Um, my tutor was an interpersonal communication major. I didn't know that was a major even in high school, um, let alone in college. So I asked him more about it, and the following semester I changed my major, and it was the best decision I made going to Ball State. And also being able to save yourself some time later. Take the core electives first. You may want to get into your major and you may be really excited to take that kinesiology class or that business or that accounting class. But definitely get those core electives out the way first, just in case you change your major maybe halfway through your sophomore year. It'll be a lot easier to catch up in your major because you'll have the electives down first. Um, and then major. So it's definitely okay to be undecided. I have like some 3 tips right here of what I took from my undergrad and what I think can help you. So talk to older professionals. Talk to your professors in your core classes. So whether it's your history class or math, English, science, whatever, go and talk to them. And also people in your residence hall. Talk to your RA. Your RA has been there for a year or two. They all have different majors. Talk to them and see what's out there. Like I said, it's okay to explore different majors, see what else is out there for you. And like I said, I didn't know about my major until I went to the tutoring center. So those are people who can help you. And so that was my big piece of first of advice. And like I stated before, it is okay to switch majors. I myself was a tour guide in my undergrad. For about 2.5 years. We had one person change their majors 9 times within their 4 years of Ball State, and they still graduated. So if you think you're halfway through your sophomore year and you can't change your major, you can. Just be able to talk to your academic advisor as well too. So, and then challenge yourself. Um, Even in your core classes, I know nobody can say that they loved every single one of their core classes because I myself did not love history and I didn't love math, but that can also challenge you to maybe see what other majors are out there. And then also talking to older professionals about your major. Everybody gets an academic advisor when they enter college. So talk to them, they help you stay on track, they help you know what credits you need to take. Um, they're just there to help you, that's why we have them. So just be able to talk to them. And also I went to my academic advisor when I couldn't decide on a minor. So maybe not necessarily someone from the tuning center could help you, like they helped me, but your academic advisor, like I said, is there for a reason. So go and talk to them, see what other options are out there. They have the full course schedule for every minor, every major. You can really see what you're getting yourself into instead of just hearing it word by mouth of, say if you're in a business major, oh, just accounting and then marketing and all, and then like advanced business ethics, where with your academic advisor, they will sit you down and tell you what you will take each semester. Can you take summer courses? And the sooner you meet with them, the better you can get your schedule kind of set up. And then this kind of goes into go to other campus services. Disability services was a service that I utilized in my undergrad. Suffering from test anxiety and ADHD, I didn't really know I could go to disability services until someone had told me. In one of my core elective classes, they said if you have any disability, hidden or not, you can go there and get help that you do need. And then also, I was able to get some extra time on exams. I got to schedule first for classes. So there are some perks that students may not know about, but they can be really helpful. And definitely, like I said, test anxiety, I believe that a lot of students do have test anxiety and they're just kind of too afraid to speak up because they may be embarrassed. I was definitely in that spot. But being able to be comfortable with your major and not feel rushed to take an exam and being able to talk to disability or accessibility services, that can be very helpful. That I think needs to be becoming more known on college campuses. And then I just have a small tip of try to find a mentor. That can be in your residence hall, professor, maybe an older friend. In my freshman year at Ball State, my RA was awesome. She held events like bi-weekly. She always wanted to talk to everyone, just kind of check in with anyone. And we are still friends to this day. So she was very helpful. And then also when you are trying to find a mentor, maybe stay in touch with them all 4 years. When I had to get letters of recommendation, I got those from my mentors that I had. I had one from freshman year, and then also I had one from my senior year that I had. So they're really helpful. They can help you with academic advising as well. So if they're in your major, they teach these courses. They know what you've lived through. So yeah, so definitely find a mentor. I recommend it. It's not for everyone, but definitely for me, it was very helpful. And then just looking into the future with your academic planning, definitely don't wait until the last minute to change. If you're in a major and you start maybe your freshman year as, let's say pre-med biology major, and you realize the end of your junior year that maybe it's not for you, you weren't getting the best grades, try to realize that before the last minute, because it is going to be kind of hard to change the end of your junior year. It's not impossible, but definitely if you think you're even starting to struggle, even within your first semester, go and talk to somebody. There are resources on campus, the professors want to help, they're all there for you. And that goes into communication. Communicate with anyone and everyone that you can. Like I said, academic advisors, professors, students in your class, talk to them, tell them your struggles, tell them your successes. Like I said, they are there to help you. So plan ahead, find the best fit for you. Whether you have to change it a few times, that's okay, and it's not frowned upon. Don't listen to the negative stereotypes. Know what's best for you, and you will find that major. Hopefully that works for you. And that's it.
Cool. Good job. I think it was a really good presentation. I think that one of the really could you go back to the beginning and we kind of just talk through it as we go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I think one of the really good things overall was that you use vulnerability in a way that I think can be very effective. So talking about your own experiences, but not to the point where you're for example, I almost failed out, except I didn't change my major. It's you talk about difficulty, which is a common theme with a lot of people. So I think that was a way for students that you'd be presenting to that could really identify with you and see themselves in you, especially those students who are basically talking about if they're thinking about changing their majors, they're more exploratory. I think that there was a he was the provost at Baldwin Law School when I would do my internship there, and he talked about how everyone's just pre-undecided. Even if you come in with a major, that it is likely, and there's that statistic that on average folks change their major 3 times. So that exploring majors piece is huge. So it's good that you incorporate that, especially within the first year, because as you mentioned later in the presentation, once you get up to the junior level, like senior level, that kind of change can be very detrimental to your your success. I know you mentioned that person that changed their major like 9 times and that they still graduated. Like that is clearly not always the case. So like understanding that for some people, like you have to be aware of like what the choices are that you're making, what those options are. Especially like with also like taking the core electives first. I think that's a good point to note. But it's also like I sometimes talk with people that they like only take core classes, and then they don't really start taking major classes until like their second half of sophomore year, and then they're kind of behind in their major, even if they because they did decide eventually. So I think it's like important to note that you take do some while you're doing your core classes, and that way you're not getting too far ahead of yourself, but you're not overbalancing in one area. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like take core classes and then slowly incorporate a potential, if not declared major.
Yeah, definitely. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought this was great, like having the advice, especially with that like challenge yourself piece, because so many people, excuse me, so many people talk about the C's get degrees, and they may not be challenging themselves very often in those core classes, but a lot of the time those core classes can really boost your overall GPA outside of like the major GPAs, so that that definitely talking with older professionals. Um, and maybe even explaining, if you get the opportunity, there wasn't like a great place to do this, but if you get the opportunity to explain what office hours are, just because for a lot of folks, they don't know what those office hours are. So that like talking to older professionals piece, they may not know how to go about doing that. So it's like actually explaining what the office hours are. And you talked about, getting in touch with an academic advisor or finding a mentor, but definitely explaining where those areas are and what those services are, kind of like you do later on with accessibility. You can go to the next one thank you. Definitely like planning ahead, because it's so easy to like get lost when scheduling.
I just realized I accidentally skipped ahead of this one.
Oh.
But I talked about it, but it wasn't. I think I clicked it too fast, but yes.
Yeah, because like you were saying before, even if it's not on this slide, but like scheduling intentionally and like being proactive and like doing that scheduling and like talking through what kind of what kind of classes are available, because for so many people they don't know, and like they're definitely taking advantage of the tutoring and writing center earlier rather than later, because if you are in a spot where you need help, it's better to know in week 4 versus like week 14 you already dug that hole and you can't get out of it, and you dropping a class isn't the option, and you don't want to have that person fail. So definitely taking advantage of it earlier than later. Yeah, I like the mentor piece just because like I feel like people don't find mentors very, especially like it doesn't necessarily have to be someone within their academic area of focus. It can be like a supervisor at a job. It can be like an older student. It can be, just a staff member. I think that's super important because you kind of want to have someone that you can go to that's not just a friend, but also isn't just like a parent. Because I know for me, if I was having academic problems, like I would be hesitant to tell my parents because I didn't want them to like get mad at me and worry I'm not like doing well. So and sometimes like going to an actual advisor can be kind of scary. So if you can like have that intermediary where it's someone that's kind of a little bit of both the parent and the friend as the mentor, that you can like utilize that service, definitely. If you want to, with looking into the future, I think one thing you could do is talking about, and even the last slide as well, but talking about maybe like if you're looking at a specific institution For example, say you were like interviewing at Ball State, looking at majors at Ball State that you could, that the change is pretty easy. So if you were to say like exercise physiology translates really well into exercise science, or history can, if you're not really actually interested in history, you could change to political science like relatively easy typically. So it's like looking at those majors where if people do want to change, it's not going to set them up on a track to failure. Whereas like if you're changing from, especially at like a larger state institution, changing from zoology to mathematics, like there's not necessarily a lot of overlap there. So maybe giving people examples of the school that you're interviewing at, of what would be effective based upon like and it's also like if that catalog is available to you like as just an individual looking at the website versus like what students specifically see.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. I like that.
Yeah. I thought your pacing was good. It never felt like you stayed on one slide too long, or you like really like talked about one specific idea too much. So I thought that was good. I liked the little like piece of paper taped up at the bottom, like with the different tips and things like that. I think that makes it unique. So definitely you were able to incorporate like yourself into the presentation, which was good. I would say maybe incorporate some statistics. There's a lot of statistics about like first year transition and first year retention in
Okay.
relation to academics and in relation to majors. So definitely, because you're using that anecdotal part, talking about your own experience. But I think if you were to add some statistics, you would kind of achieve both ends. That you're able to get the people that are more empathic, and then you have the people that are like, I want figures and facts. That you can be able to articulate that message to both people.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but overall, I think you did a really good job.
Thanks.